Yo, Theo here again. 2 videos in one day, wow. It looked there for a minute when I was walking in the forest this morning like the sun was gonna come out. Didn't happen. The rain came instead. And yeah, there was some more things I wanted to say about panic attacks, that it would have been such a long video, so better split it into 2 parts, right? And I'll just say this before I start. You know, the uncommon things I've been kind of thinking out loud about. I started this format when I just talk to the camera and walk around most of the time, not when it's raining, but because I'm very busy in my life, and I just thought the format was a temporary one. Turns out that this is like what works best for me. So after one guy commented and suggested I remove the uncommon thoughts thing, I've been wanting to for a while. I've kind of felt like I had to see it through to the end of this cut, but you know what, I'll just go through and remove that, and this is just videos now. So okay, now in this video we're gonna talk a little more about what actually is a panic attack. What is it? So the standard explanation you get, that's, you know, true, but it's always with a lion on the savannah. Do you say savannah? Well, where the lions live, at least. That's the example you get all the time, that when you are in such a situation, you see this lion coming against you, fight or flight mode is activated, you know. You decide, your body gets ready to immediately either fight the threat or just flee from the threat. And so in dangerous situations that makes sense, right? It's actually a good thing to get panic. Your body just gets ready to do what needs to be done right away. But so what's up with panic attacks then, when you get them, like, even from things that aren't actual threats, just might be for some people just social situations, if they have like social anxiety, I think it's called. But like, it happened to me like for no apparent reason at all. It wasn't a stressor. I said in the last video, it wasn't the actual job that stressed me out, it just happened at the job. So I think I've figured it out. So if you've been watching this channel, I talk about the ego sometimes, and it's something that's kind of hard to put into words, but when you know it, you know it, you know. And the ego it's that voice in your head that you can think is you, but actually isn't. It's like a part of you that keeps making up stories in your head all the time about what's happening, and the ego tries always to make you the hero, and everything bad is everyone else's fault and everything good is your fault. But also the ego, yeah, it's so complicated to try to put into words. But what I think happened to me, you know, people are living lies a lot of the time. Do you know that sometimes you can't believe that this person actually believes this? They are actually believing this thing, and it's because they've come up with a story, or their ego rather has come up with a story that they have identified with and believes. And so in my life, you know, my ego wanted to blame me feeling so horribly on all this feminism, immigration, just crazy political stuff. That my ego wanted it to make it out, so that you're so miserable only because the world is at wrong here. You would feel better if just the world was a little better, you know. And not necessarily that I was wrong about all the things I thought. It's just that was not the reason I was feeling bad, like a loser, you know. I could go on for so long about this, but what I think happened to me when my world started tumbling down so much, like the lies my ego had been telling me, I could no longer believe them, you know, because the truth started to stare me right in the face. And so I think what happened was, it was basically the start of the death of my ego, that it became very, very painful for my ego having to not being able to deny the truth anymore. It actually isn't the women's fault or feminism's fault or whatever. It's actually you. You are a loser. You don't feel a loser because of something else. You. Look at yourself. It's not the feminist's fault that you're a lazy piece of shit that just tries to get drunk and play video games and watch TV series and just lie around eating junk food all the time. That's completely on you. And I think that what was happened, my ego couldn't handle it, all these truths starting to appear to me. Very painful. And so that's kind of what I think a panic attack is a lot of the time, when there's no apparent threat. That your ego is starting to like see yourself, your thoughts, is your mere existence. Not being able to listen to the lies anymore is the threat, if you understand what I'm saying. So that's kind of what I think a panic attack is. It's the start of an ego death, if you embrace it the right way. It's a painful awakening from all the lies you've been experiencing. So if I'll give you some advice on how to handle it, I went through it a little bit. I told you my story so you can kind of understand what you need to do. Like, the first thing is, obviously, you can't avoid the panic all the time. I get it. It's very, very challenging at first. Like I even did the first day after I had my first panic attack. I didn't go to work then, but I did my best, you know. Put myself on sick leave for 50%. Went there as often as I could. Sometimes I had to leave early because I got panic attacks. But so that is the first step. Don't try to, you can't flee away from this. It's not going to go away then. You might be able to bury it again for a little while, but it's going to come back. If you want to cure it, you need to confront these panic attacks. Learn yourself that it's actually, it feels a lot that it's very, very threatening, but it's actually a lie. And so this is the big final lie the ego will tell you before you manage to pass the big final lie the ego tells you is that everything is dangerous and you should just lock yourself away at home and be just as avoiding discomfort as much as you can. This is the big final lie that you have to ignore. And so you should go back to my video. Oh, I don't remember what it's called now, but I'll make sure I'll link it in the description. It's about mindfulness and meditation. Be still and know the truth. I know it's said in the picture. I don't remember the title right now, but I link it. But meditation is really the ego thoughts. Like, to put it simply, just generalize so you understand. The ego thoughts are the verbal thoughts, like the thoughts with words. Like, to give you an example of what is not an ego thought, you know, that's when you go out on a summer's day and you just feel the sun against your skin and you feel like this is nice and warm. You don't have to have a big explanation for it. You just know. Just as you know, if someone tells a joke, you just laugh. You just know it's fun. This is not ego. Ego is like, say that you hear that someone was mad at you or something, and you start thinking, oh, why were they mad at me? Yeah, I did do that thing that they didn't want me to do, but it's actually, I mean, what should I that was the only thing I could do. Like, I'm actually angry at this person now for being angry. It was like, you see, the ego is it's like the storyteller that tries to make up stories all the time about what's going on. And so when you meditate and learn this, to just watch your thoughts, like, there's many different ways you can do it, but actually you can just sit down by yourself. The first few minutes, focus on just relaxing your body, focus on your breathing, finding a nice, you know, it's fine if you move around a little bit at first, but then your only goal is to just watch your thoughts, see your thoughts without reacting to them. Don't try to steer them away. If a bad thought comes, you know, your ego will want to define them as good or bad. Ignore it. Even if you start doing it, don't get upset about that. Let it happen. But your goal is all the time to just watch your thoughts and see how you react to them. And yes, so this is I didn't know about this when I started getting the panic attacks, but this is like the first thing I would advise anyone with panic attacks and anxiety to do. Learn to recognize this voice, that all the things that make you feel bad, it's just lies being told in your head. And if you can see through them, you know, you can conquer them. So that's the biggest thing. The other thing is obviously just giving you the best circumstances, the best environment for this learning about the ego to take place. And that's more exercise and better nutrition. And you know, I won't say anything more about that. It's so apparently true. Everyone knows it. it will, on a hormonal level, just because I think it's a spiritual problem. It's trauma, this ego you've built. It's not only physical, but you can give yourself better physical circumstances for this. Like if you do work out, you are going to be more stress resistant. Like you're not going to be able to get as nervous and worked up about stuff. And if you eat better, also better balanced hormones, you won't be able to get these big swings in your mood in the same way. And this advice, just take it. If you are suffering from panic attacks and anxiety and won't try to eat better and exercise more, then you deserve, this is exactly what you deserve. Be happy with your panic that you might be able to bury for a little while. It's gonna come back. Have fun with that, So, yes. Is there anything more I want to say about it? I think this is basically it. Just realize what a panic attack is. It is not dangerous, it just feels awful. Start learning this, watching your thoughts, learning what is actually you and what is your ego. It's kind of like you have two people living in here, and the one that is you has a voiceless voice, and the ego has that voice you can hear. And you'll get better at this. This is something I can add that doesn't necessarily have to do with panic attacks, but I've gotten so much. I'm getting better and better and better and better at watching my ego all the time. Like it's not only with bad thoughts either. You're gonna learn that your ego tries to deceive you sometimes into thinking you're better than you are, that things are better than you are. But when you think about something, if you get this habit of meditating, watching your thoughts, you're gonna spot yourself like, I think this little argument I had in my head right now, I think I've had that before. And then you don't start thinking a lot about it. This is the progress. You noticed a common story your ego tells you, and every time you notice the stories your ego tells you, you'll come a step closer to the truth, to just perfect peace. So yes, that was the follow-up. Please let me know if there's anything more about panic attacks that you'd like to know, or stuff like this. Because it's hard for me to figure out. I have my panic attack thing that's very, personal for me. People get like different symptoms to these kinds of things. But please, if there's more on this, like mental and spiritual, but mental a lot, like subjects that you want me to talk about, please let me know so I understand what you want me to talk about. So if you enjoy this, please subscribe for more content about mindfulness, mental health, fitness, physical health, fasting, stuff like that. Very cool stuff that you should subscribe to see more of. Please like to help me out and grow the channel to 1,000 subscribers. Please, gotta get there soon. Then we can do this live. Wow, that's gonna be awesome. Okay, see you guys.